Today, we're diving into the book of Proverbs. Now, you've probably heard a bunch of its quotes, but what if I told you its real genius isn't just in the one-liners, but in its hidden design? We're going to peel back the layers and see how this ancient book is actually a masterclass in the art of living well.
So let's just get right into it. When you think of the book of Proverbs, what comes to your mind? I bet for a lot of us, it feels like this kind of jumbled collection of inspirational quotes, like an ancient Twitter feed filled with bite-sized life advice.
You see quotes like these, right? They're super powerful, they're memorable for sure, but they also feel totally disconnected from each other. So it's really easy to get the impression that this is all just one big haphazard list. But what if that impression is completely wrong? What if there's a deliberate genius to the whole thing?
To really get the book's structure, we first have to understand the guy it's named after, King Solomon. And the key here isn't just that he was wise in some general abstract way. No, his wisdom was something very, very specific. And it all kicked off with this incredible divine encounter. Okay, so the story goes like this. God basically offers Solomon a blank check. Anything he wants. Fame, money, a long life. Solomon doesn't ask for any of that. Instead, he asks for the ability to govern his people well, to lead them with real justice. And you gotta notice the specific words he uses here. A hearing heart. This isn't about memorizing facts or being good at brain teasers. This is about a deep, deep insight into people. The ability to see the truth of a situation and make a judgment that's actually fair. And this unique gift gets put on full display in that famous story of the two mothers, right? This was so much more than a clever trick. What Solomon did was create a test that completely bypassed what they were saying and went straight to revealing their hearts. His wisdom wasn't about what they said, it was about seeing who they were. So the big takeaway from that story is that Solomon's wisdom was fundamentally practical. It was all about making sure there was justice and that his people could thrive. And that very practical focus, well, that's the foundation for the entire book that bears his name. All right, so this brings us to a huge plot twist. We call it the Proverbs of Solomon, but what if he didn't actually sit down and write every single one of them? This idea actually paints a way more fascinating picture of how this book even came to be. This is the question that really unlocks a whole new way of looking at it. Because as you're reading through Proverbs, you suddenly stumble on sections that are credited to other people. So what does it even mean for this to be Solomon's book then? Well, we should probably think of Solomon less like an author writing a novel from scratch and more like an authorizer, or maybe a master curator. Imagine all the wisest people from all over the world coming to test him. He listens to their wisdom, and with his divine insight, he picks out the absolute best, most truthful sayings and gives them his royal stamp of approval. He then includes them in his official collection. And the book tells us this itself. It's not a secret. It explicitly includes the words of a Gore and even advice given to a King Lemuel by his mom. It's not trying to hide these other sources, it's highlighting them. Solomon's job was to gather and authorize the definitive collection on wisdom for his people. So now that we understand the curator, we can finally appreciate his masterpiece. Because this thing is not a random collection. It is an intentionally designed educational journey. Here it is. This is the core idea. The book of Proverbs isn't a collection, it's a curriculum. It has a syllabus, and it's designed to take you, the reader, from being a total novice to an expert in the art of living wisely. Just look at this structure. Chapters 1 through 9 are basically the intro course, a bunch of poems that answer the question, why should I even bother to pursue wisdom? Then you get to chapters 10 to 15, and that's the what. It defines wisdom by constantly showing you what it looks like compared to foolishness. And in later sections like 25 and 26, they get into the how, using a really specific kind of proverb to teach you how to apply it. So what on earth is an emblematic proverb? Okay, think of it like a political cartoon. You've got a simple image, a donkey and an elephant, and then a little caption that helps you understand the deeper political point being made. These proverbs work the same way. They use a concrete, real-world image to make a much bigger, abstract, moral point. So what this all means is that the book is designed to train you. It's like a workout plan for your brain. It starts with the easier stuff, the motivational poems, then moves to simpler proverbs, and it slowly builds toward more complex riddles later on.
It's meant to grow your wisdom as you go. You're not supposed to just jump into chapter 30 cold. So what's the end game here? Why go through this whole curriculum? Well, the goal isn't just to be clever or to have a pocket full of good quotes to drop at a party. It's about something way, way more practical. The ultimate goal of Proverbs is something that Dr. Fred Putnam calls skilled living. And that's just the art of living your life in sync with the fundamental nature of reality, basically understanding how the world actually works and then moving in harmony with it. The absolute perfect analogy for this is woodworking. If you've ever worked with a piece of wood, you know it's 1,000 times easier to cut with the grain than it is to cut against it, right? You go with the grain, the work is smooth, it's effective. You go against it, and all you get is resistance and splinters. And that's exactly what skilled living is. It's not about just blindly following a list of rules. It's about developing the insight, that hearing heart, to see the grain of reality in your friendships, in your job, in your finances, in your own character, and then choosing to live in a way that flows with it, not against it. So in the end, the book of Proverbs is so much more than a random list of quotes. It's a masterclass. It's a training manual for skilled living. And it leaves us with this really powerful question to think about. In your own life, right now, today, where are you fighting against the grain? And what would it look like to start moving with it?